how would you describe your mission to me?
My mission is to help these people that come into my rehab facility get back to their highest level of care, because I don't want to see them living inside of a healthcare facility their whole life. I want them to get back out into the real world.
There you go. I mean, dude, that's an extremely noble mission that would be easy to get people to rally behind, okay? Because what you're actually doing is you're giving people their life back, all right? Nobody wants to come into a healthcare facility and stay there their whole life. So stressing that importance over and over and over again of how important it is for us to do our jobs, to make sure that we're giving people their life back. Because here's the reality, dude. People are tired of working for a paycheck. They want to work for a purpose. They want to work for something that matters. And the more that you can articulate that and build that, the more buy-in you're going to get from the team. And honestly, the more fulfilled you're going to be, the more fulfilled they're going to be. And through that fulfillment, the business will offer a better product, which will, naturally increase revenue and profitability, as long as whoever's making those decisions about profitability can do math. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to motherfucking reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. Now, there's a few different ways you could submit your questions. The first way is,
guys, email these questions in to askandy@andyfrisella.com.
Don't forget to put your phone number in there. We will choose your question and let you know if it's going to be on the show. I don't know how you guys are doing it. I'm talking to the team. You guys got it under control?
A whole system.
All right, so what do they need to do?
Yeah, guys, you email your questions in, put your phone number down if you're interested, and then, we review these questions, and then if you got a good question, we'll put it in another pool of questions, and from that's where we pick. So
so what you're saying is if you ask shitty questions, you won't get to be on the show.
Yeah, you won't get picked. Okay. Yeah. And even if you ask a great question, there's no guarantee that we'll pull you. I mean, we got now 15 questions lined up
for today's show.
3.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. If you act like a boner, I'm just gonna.
You got a boner button right there.
That's the boner button. All right, and you will be disconnected.
Yeah. Your
boner will be disconnected, and I know that's in these days.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway, So we got Q&AF.
Yeah, that's the one way to go in.
Yeah. What's the other way?
Other way, guys, check down in the description below. Go to that link, andyfrisella.com/askandy.
Yeah.
And submit questions that way.
Yeah. And I think there's a QR code. Okay.
Link in my bio, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, all that shit. All right. Here's the deal. We don't just do Q&A here. A lot of you guys are new listeners. Tomorrow we're going to have CTI. CTI stands for Cruise the Internet. So we put topics on the screen, we speculate on what's true, what's not true, and then we talk about how we, the people, have to solve these problems going on in the world. Other times we're going to have Real Talk. Real Talk's just 5 to 20 minutes of me giving you a rant. We call it a Real Talk. Then we have 75 Hard Verses. That's where people who have completed the 75 Hard program come on the show. They talk about how they basically sucked at life before and how they use the 75 Hard program to get their shit together. You can get that program for free at episode 208. If you're unfamiliar with 75 Hard, it's the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most popular mental transformation program in history, and it's free. Episode 208 on the audio feed. It's not on YouTube, okay? There's also a book you can buy. It's called The Book on Mental Toughness. It covers the entire Live Hard program, plus a whole bunch of extra chapters on mental toughness, how to cultivate it, how to use it, and how to implement it to make your life better, all right? We do have a feed for the show. If you're new here, we're one of the biggest shows, if not the biggest show. I think we're the biggest show in the world that doesn't run ads. We just ask very simply you help us grow the show, all right? So if the show makes you think, if it makes you laugh, it gives you a new perspective, it's entertaining, if it helps you with skills, do us a favor and don't be a hoe.
Shut the show.
All right. So what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Nothing, dude.
We got a new thing to do, man.
Yeah, a new thing?
New thing. So I don't have 3 good ones for you, but hopefully we got some good ones out here, though.
Yeah,
man.
We'll see how this goes.
It should be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I am too, man. I'm excited to hit that boner button. Don't be a boner.
Hopefully no boners today. Hopefully no boners. I mean, like I said, we got the questions, but it's going to be a great time to engage with some real ass fans out there, and give context to some of these questions that I can't give you because I didn't write them, you know? So, well, you want to just do the thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
We should get him another button so it like makes it seem like he's calling.
Ring, ring, ring.
You gotta give him a rotary phone.
Yeah. What's that? No. Is that canned laughter? That's good. We need that for DJ.
We gotta get you. We gotta get you a rotary phone, bro. That'd be fire.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, here we go. First caller. This is Daniel. Let's give Daniel a call.
Hello?
Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, what's up, brother? It's DJ.
Hey, DJ, how's it going?
Good, man. You are live on the air. I got Andy Big Dog sitting right here.
Yeah. What's up, Daniel?
How's it going, Andy?
Good, brother. So what you got for us today?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say thank you both for doing the show. I've been listening a little bit over a year, and it impacted me and helped me a lot. So I just turned 20 a few days ago, and I have pretty ambitious goals for my future. And really simply, just what would you guys say is the best ways to just maximize my early 20s to just set myself up for long-term success and happiness?
Well, I mean, I think that's a great question, dude. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, especially at your age. You know, you have all different kinds of advice that goes on the internet telling people, to have fun in their 20s. And then you got other people that say, take it serious in your 20s. And I think the biggest thing that you need to do, man, as a young man your age, is to cultivate the skill of discipline. Make sure that you are working to become a disciplined human being, because when we have, as you know from listening to the show, when we have the ability to make the proper decision that serves our goals long term, there's really nothing that we can't do. Most people do things in their early 20s that really get them off track, okay? One, they party too much. Two, they think they have all the time in the world. Three, they never work on becoming disciplined. And because of the ability to not make the proper decision, that gets them off track long term. So if I were talking to myself at 20 years old, I would say, hey, Andy, look here. This is what you got to do, bro. You got to figure out how you can make the proper decision in the inconvenient circumstances so that whatever plan we lay out, we meaning Andy, they, them, right?
Right.
We lay out, we could stick to the proper choices moving forward and accomplish that plan. You know, most people have dreams that they can never really accomplish, bro, because they don't have the discipline to make the proper decision. And if you could cultivate that discipline at 20 years old, you're going to be 18 years ahead of where I was, brother, because I didn't really cultivate that till I was in my late 30s. And, once I figured that out and once I started really working on that with Live Hard and 75 Hard lifestyle, everything even changed for me, and I was already doing very well. So that would be the first thing I would do. And then after that, I'd really do some searching about what it is you think you want. What is it that you do want?
Are you asking?
Was that? Yeah, I'm asking you. What do you want?
So my brother-in-law has a pretty successful business. Nothing compared to you, so.
Yeah.
But he does really well for himself. He's in his 30s. I mean, he's just great overall. He makes the money that I want to make one day. He's a great father. He's able to just, like you said, kind of the discipline part. He kind of just built his life to kind of be what he wanted by doing what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of like in a analysis paralysis mode. I mean, I have a good job right now, but it's definitely not the dream of any sport.
Well, listen, bro, everything that we do when we're young serves us a purpose, okay? Even if it's not what you want to be doing, you're going to learn lessons at that job, even if it is what not to do or what I don't like doing. And that's valuable as well. But it sounds like you have an awesome role model ahead of you, which is a great thing.
Most people don't have that.
No, they don't. No. They don't have someone in real life that they can look and see and touch and know. And bro, I would just, I would stay away from the major mistakes, man. The major mistakes are, too much fun, too many girls. drugs, and too much alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
you know,
not in that order necessarily.
Yeah. Usually they go together. but yeah, bro, you know, avoid those mistakes. Decide where it is you want to go. You know, most people I think you're way ahead of the game, brother, because you're already thinking about where you want to go and you're willing to take it serious now, which is going to give you a tremendous advantage. You know, you're going to hear a lot of your friends and they're going to say, hey man, you need to take it easy. And you're going to, you know, you're working too hard and you got these big dreams. Yep. Bro, those people when you're 40 are going to be doing the same shit that they're doing now. So it's super important that you understand that you're way ahead by just being aware that I want a certain kind of life. So take some time, redefine that, like, you know, get more focused in on what it is you want, work a plan backwards from there on how to get there, and then just start chipping away at it, brother. You know, there's really no secret to this. It's just making a decision about what it is you want, forcing yourself to go, and figuring it out along the way. You know, when I was your age, dude, I always thought that people were going to come along and sort of, you know, give me permission. I thought, like, you know, some of these successful guys that I looked up to were going to, you know, call me on the phone or tell me I was qualified or give me permission to do the thing. And bro, I'm going to tell you that never comes, and you don't need it. Okay. You have every right and every available skill set available to you to build whatever it is you want. And there's no gatekeeping. There's nobody keeping you out, bro. You just got to go. And if you go now, you're going to be way ahead. I mean, that's when I started. I started when I was 19. So, you know, I didn't have anybody telling me we could do this shit. They all told me I was fucking crazy. Yeah. So I would work on developing that discipline and then use that discipline to execute against that plan of where you want to go, bro. And really it is that simple. There's no magic. There's no luck. It just appears to be luck to people who haven't been watching you work. So yeah, man, that's what I would do if I were you.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
All right, brother.
Daniel, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Daniel. Your first caller ever on Real AF, bro.
Really? I was the first one?
Yeah, first one ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, I seriously do appreciate everything you guys do. I'm always tuned in. I'm excited for MFCO to come out. That'll be huge. When you had the first part of it, I was still a little kid, so I didn't know about it, but now I'm aware, so I'm excited for it to come out.
All right, brother. Well, listen, dude, have a great day, and let's get this going right now, all right?
Yes, sir. Thanks so much, Andy and DJ.
All right, see you, bro.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was in the book.
Hey, I like it. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that first time, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know how this is going to go.
All right. Well, we got
went a little longer than my first time. That was good.
Sure, it was longer than his first time. Too.
Listen, Daniel, I love it, bro. Yeah. You got it all figured out. You're 20 years old. You're already thinking about it. You're not worried about all the crazy distractions, and it's good. It's good and reassuring to hear that from a young man.
Yeah. It was good that he actually had somebody with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Like, if you call it a setback, I guess you could call it a setback that, like, young people face now is like,
yeah,
bro, nobody around them is fucking really doing it.
Yeah. And dude, there's a lot to that, man. Just being able to witness it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know the person, just being able to see it close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it makes sense why so many people fall for these fucking gurus now.
Yeah.
They don't have nothing else to look at.
100%.
They need real people next to them, bro.
Yes. 100%. That is why. Yeah. Because they've never seen it in real life. And dude, I was very fortunate to know, I knew of two people that I was able to, like, see their life, right? And being able to touch and see and know that those are real people that did real things, that was a big deal for me.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it validated, like, you know, I have enough confidence in myself to understand, like, well, for the most part, if that person can do it, I could do it too.
For sure.
You know, and I think that's where we need to understand, and to have paralysis of analysis and overanalyzing, Daniel, is very common, bro. And even it's common, even if you're experienced, you can get caught up in it. I can get caught up in it. You know, we want to analyze to make sure that we're going to do the best thing, while somebody else is just starting to execute and they figure it out as they go. And that's the game of entrepreneurship, man. You got to go, and really life too. You got to go, and then you figure it out as you go.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. We got next caller. Technically, we're calling them. Technically. So
we're gonna figure this out.
We're gonna call our next person.
Yeah.
Let's get Chris on the line. Here we go.
Hello, Chris.
Chris, what's up, buddy? This is DJ.
Oh man, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? We got Andy here with you.
What's up, Chris?
Oh no, for real?
Yeah, what's up,
Oh
dude?
man,
Yeah, this is his direct cell phone number, so call him anytime.
this is crazy. Oh, I will.
What's going on, though, man?
Oh my God, damn, this is surreal, man. You don't even know. I've been listening to you guys since MFCEO. I found you during COVID, all that bullshit, and it changed my life, man. You know, I started earning a lot better in my job. I started getting focused. I knew what the real was. Thank God. At the time, it really helped me get through a lot of the bullshit out there. Man, just navigate life and my family. So thank you guys for that.
Nah, bro, you did that.
Yeah.
You did that. So,
yeah.
What you got for us today, brother?
What's the question?
Man, my question is, how do I take time for myself without feeling guilty about it? I just struggle with this, you know, as a dad and a provider. I feel like, you know, even when I sit down on the couch after a long day, or if I want to chill and go and do something, like in my mind, I still hear that voice like, hey, you should be doing this. Hey, you know, you need to get up and do that. Hey, someone's got to take that out, you know, like there's always something. And I don't know how to kind of be okay with putting me first. I guess is my question.
Yeah, dude, listen, I think anybody who's driven and has massive amounts of responsibility struggles with this as well, if they actually care. And the reality is, dude, is, you know, you got to think about it like this. If you're on an airplane and something happens and the masks fall out of the top of the airplane, and what do they tell you to do? They tell you to put the mask on yourself first and then help everybody else around you. And the reason for that is because if you're incapacitated, can't help anybody. So you have to think about that and expand that thought process out across your life. Okay. You're doing everything that you can. It sounds like, you know, if you were just sitting around and, you know, being a deadbeat and not doing shit, I'm going to assume that's not the case. But if you were just doing that, you know, we'd have another problem. But you wouldn't be feeling, I don't think you'd be feeling the way you do if that's what was going on. So, we have to understand that, like, dude, sometimes you have to be selfish to be selfless. All right. And what that means is we got to take care of ourselves. We've got to make sure that we make time for ourselves to develop mentally, physically, keep those things fine tuned. And, you know, having some time to ourselves is a very big portion of that. Because that's the time where we get to audit and the time where we get to, you know, think and analyze and, you know, decompress. When we're in the heat of all of our obligations, you know, it can be very difficult to take that time to think about what's next or what actually needs to be done or if something needs to change. And what that could create, brother, is a spiral, you know, where your life is just spiraling and you have no control at all. So, you know, I would start accepting it right now that you need that time. It's not a luxury. It's something that's required and it should be part of your routine. And just like, you know, everybody else in the world, you know, we have to understand that, you know, while you're carrying a lot of load on your back, dude, you're still going to need to have that time and start looking at it as an accessory to what you're doing, not something that you're taking away from what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I see that. I can see that now. It's just a shift of perspective. I guess it's just, you know, the inner voice in my head just keeps kind of like, hey, man, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I can't relax.
Well, listen,
I don't know.
I first of all, there could be worse things. All right. There could be, you could have nothing going on up there like most people. All right. So the fact that, you know, you're overstimulated a little bit, man, you know, that's even more, I think, the reason why you need to make that a priority, dude, because at the end of the day, you know, even the most hardened, disciplined people are going to need that time. They're going to need it. So I think you're right. I think it's a perspective switch. I think it's starting to look at it as it's required instead of it's icing on the cake. And I think that'll help alleviate some of that guilt.
Yeah.
You know, the other
Thank
thing
you,
too, dude, is do you use the power list as a daily tasks tool?
Yeah, I do. I do it every morning or every night than the day before.
Well, remember, dude, once you get those 5 critical tasks done, the rest of that time is to be used living your life. You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose of it. The purpose of it is so that you can be successful and continue to move forward while not having to do what all the gurus say, which is work 27 hours out of 24 every day. Right. So just remember, dude, there's only so much we can do in a day. And once we do those critical tasks, you know, the rest of our life is meant to be lived in the rest of that time.
That's powerful. Thank you.
Well, I mean,
I appreciate you, man.
What do you think, bro?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think, well, what's it all for if we're not enjoying the journey, right? I guess, you know, it's just, I think you're right. I think it's, you know, you put in the work so you can reap the rewards. I think it's just maybe a mental shift I need to make that, like, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor where you don't have to feel like, okay, I still got to do this. Okay, well, we got to get home because I got to do this. Like, be in the moment probably is something I'm trying to tell myself right now.
Yeah.
And,
well,
not rush through.
You don't want to become the guy that works all the time and lives no life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So keep that in mind. The purpose of what we're doing in our lives here is not just to work it away. It is to work so that our life is at a higher quality that we want. And as an ambitious person, as somebody who wants to be successful, you know, sometimes that can get clouded. You know, it gets clouded for me, bro. So just remember, you got to take that time for yourself. And dude, honestly, if you're having trouble, add that onto your power list as one of the tasks that you need to do. You know what I mean? Until that becomes a habit.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna do that.
All right, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else for us, bro?
Dude, I mean, you know, keep shining the light, boys. I mean, you know, thank God we made this shift, and I have a lot of hope for our future now. I mean, I was worried there for a minute. I was getting ready, but you know,
remember,
still want to
bro,
see the wood chipper out there. That's my last wish. That's the only thing I missed.
Hey, remember, dude,
you know,
that's going to come down to men like you and I and all of us listening here. So you're doing good work, brother, and we appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate the call. I mean, this is really precious. I appreciate you guys.
All right, Chris, take care, bro.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, DJ.
See you, brother.
All right.
Yeah, dude, you know, I was just thinking too, like, I feel like a lot of people, because it's like, dude, we live in this world where it's just two extremes.
Mm-hmm.
It's either work all fucking day or play all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that I think a lot of people have issues with that piece too, where it's like, well, I'm in fear if I relax even just a little bit, I lose that momentum. You know what I'm saying?
I get really upset with the way that it's presented in entrepreneur culture because it is both. It's one or the other. It's I work 5 minutes a day and make $50 million a minute, or, you know, I work my ass off and, you know, 27 hours of 24 and you can't keep up with me because I'm a fucking machine, which demoralizes everybody. So there's a middle ground, which is the truth. And the truth is this: if you execute on your critical tasks over and over and over again consistently, and you use the power list method, which is available for free at episode 16 on the audio feed, okay? It's called Win the Day. It describes my entire productivity method. I have an app getting ready to drop on this too, by the way, so that you guys can just use it, it's fucking awesome. But the main thing that we have to understand is the reason that we do all these things is so we can have a life. And as, you know, let's say you're an entrepreneur, you know, you're going to have a little bit less of a life, or you're going to have to make the business part of your life. That's just reality. You know, like we talk about here on the show, the more you want, the higher the price to pay. And that's just natural order. Everybody knows that. It's that way in almost every area of life. So we can't forget that the reason we do all these things is so that we can actually have a life that we love and that we enjoy and that we're fulfilled by. And, that looks different for everybody. But I can tell you, Chris, I'll tell you this, dude, like, I don't show my whole life every single day, but I promise you, once those 5 tasks are done for me, I'm in complete fuck off mode. Yeah. Like,
well, some days you don't get that though, right?
Yeah, some days I don't ever get it, right?
Yeah.
Some days it's till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. It was last night.
Yeah.
I was doing shit till 1 a.m. Some days, I'm done by 11 a.m.
You're done by noon, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and dude, you'll see me smoking a cigar at 12:30. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that. And like, dude, I could tell you from being around all these people, like all these people on the internet, I know almost all of them. And yeah, there's a few that, really do it the way they say they do it. But most of these guys, they're fluffing it up for the internet. Okay. Like people, you should not, I guess what I'm trying to get to is you should not feel fucking guilty for having some time every day to live. I mean, that's the point of doing this.
Yeah,
so
100%, man. 100%. Well, we got another one.
Yeah.
On to the next.
Hello.
What's up, Joe?
How's it going?
Yeah, we're live, baby. We got Big Andy Dog right here.
What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. So what's up, man? What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I work in a healthcare facility, and I've been successful in getting rid of contract agency staff. My main goal now is to get my overtime down. I'm spending about 100 hours a week on overtime. So I did a wage analysis, and we're averaging about $5 an hour, lower than all of my competition. I brought this up to my corporate. They are interested in hearing that. They told me, you got out of agency, figure it out. So those are the hands I'm dealt. So I'm focused on engagement and culture. So far I've been doing monthly cookouts, town hall meetings with raffles, different competitions with the staff. I have an anonymous box for staff that don't feel comfortable talking in public about any issues, employee of the month, and $5 gift cards for staff members that receive positive Google reviews. What are some other strategies I could implement to help compete with these higher paying competitors?
Well, look, first of all, when you make the atmosphere, I think you're on the right track, by the way. When you make the atmosphere fun and rewarding and, something that people want to be a part of, you can overcome that issue that you have with the wage being less. However, it's going to take more than, just doing a cookout or giving a special gift card for a review or something like that. What we have to do is we have to get clear on what the mission is for these people. All right. And then reward them based around what the mission is and how they accomplish the mission instead of talking to them about the money. All right. There's an old saying, people will work for money, but they will kill for recognition. But the recognition has to be genuine and it has to be real, and it can't come off as corny or we're just trying to do this fake culture to appease you. It has to be real. Mm-hmm. And to make a real culture, the culture drivers of the department or of the business need to make sure they're building real relationships with the people that they want to buy into the culture. How many people are we talking about here?
I have a total staff of 130, and on average, I have 40 to 45 staff members in my building at a time.
Okay. Do you know all these people by name?
I don't, and I've identified that as a massive area that I need to improve on. Like, I talk to them, but I need to get more in depth with my communication with them.
1,000%. Okay. You got to know who they are. You got to know what their story is. And you have to build a personal connection with these people and then facilitate an environment for them to build a personal connection with each other. That might look a number of different ways, okay? But how it's really going to look is you guys spending time together in a genuine way. So when we think of, and really, dude, and I know you're in healthcare and this might not suit what you're doing, but the quickest way to build camaraderie and teamwork and culture is through mutual suffering, meaning, you know, we work out together or we go on a run club or we do something like that. I don't know if that's a real thing in what it is that you do or not, but I would think along those terms, because bonding happens in uncomfortable situations. And if you want a strong culture, the quickest way to do it is to create intentional situations where people get uncomfortable together, because that creates mutual respect. It's vulnerability. People learn to see each other as equals, not as positions of power inside of, you know, a power structure ecosystem of a company. And you end up having tight relationships form from that. Some companies do that in different ways. You know, they do social functions. It sounds like you're really trying hard to find out what that is. But at the core of that, bro, it's going to be you making sure that you know who these people are, having regular conversations with them, making sure that you're checking in on them personally. And this is really what separates great culture from, you know, fake culture, right? Every locker room of every losing team ever has a sign in it that says, we stand for this and we go out and do that. And, you know, we play hard or whatever. But the difference between the good teams and the bad teams is that the good teams actually spend time together cultivating that guideline of what the mission is and what the values are. So do you have core values established? Does your company have that?
My company does not. I've actually been working with my directors on building internal values, because my company's not involved to a stance where they're going to stop me as long as those core values are what most companies would want in the core values.
Okay.
And I base my structure off of First Form's core values for my rough draft.
Okay. That's fine. I would encourage you to analyze those core values and make sure that they align with who you are as a person, because it's impossible to live those core values if they're not authentic to the leader of the value driving position, which is you. So,
absolutely.
So, you know, take some time, reflect on those, make adjustments where you need to make sure that they're authentic, set an overall mission for what, you know, your team here is trying to do. And remember, this is not, our mission is to make money. You guys being in the healthcare business, your mission, you know, how would you describe your mission to me?
My mission is to help these people that come into my rehab facility get back to their highest level of care, because I don't want to see them living inside of a healthcare facility their whole life. I want them to get back out into the real world, and then we'll be there for them when they're ready to come back. But let's get you back to your highest level of function.
There you go. I mean, dude, that's an extremely noble mission that would be easy to get people to rally behind, okay? Because what you're actually doing is you're giving people their life back, all right? Nobody wants to come into a healthcare facility and stay there their whole life. So stressing that importance over and over and over again of how important it is for us to do our jobs, to make sure that we're giving people their life back. Because here's the reality, dude. People are tired of working for a paycheck. They want to work for a purpose. They want to work for something that matters. And the more that you can articulate that and build that, the more buy-in you're going to get from the team. And honestly, the more fulfilled you're going to be, the more fulfilled they're going to be. And through that fulfillment, the business will offer a better product, which will, you know, naturally increase revenue and profitability, as long as whoever's making those decisions about profitability can do math. Okay. So, you know, I commend you for where you're at.
It sounds like he cares a lot.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. I mean, you can clearly listen.
Yeah. I've
been
listening since 15. So like I've literally structured my whole core values and just my upbringing on the podcast. So
Cool.
I try to implement that in my facility.
How old are you?
28.
Okay. And how old are the people on your team, roughly?
They're about in their 40s and 50s.
Okay. That might be a little bit of a challenge just because they're, you're the young guy trying to do the new thing. But the way you get those people to buy in, man, is to say things like this, because this is true. Hey, look, guys, you guys got into this industry to make a difference. That's why you're here. You're not here for a paycheck. You're here because you care about these people and you want to get them back out doing what they do in life. And let's get refocused on why we're here. This is why we do this. This is what makes us happy on the inside. If it were me, I'd ask them and say, how many of you guys get excited when we see somebody go back out on the street and live their life? And they're all going to raise their hand, and just get them realigned with that mission and that purpose, and then learn to communicate when you correct and when you guide in line with that purpose. And then when you do correct, correct in terms of what the value system is, right? Hey, Bob, this is why we don't do this way. This goes against our core value of X, and this is why that's important. And dude, if you do just those things, you're going to be way, way, way further ahead than most people. And and then build your reward system around cultural ideals, not necessarily performance, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because my goal, personally, my goal is to help CNAs go to nursing school if they want to. I just promoted a CNA that's like a top performer to a director position. I was like, hey, let's try this out. This building's meant for new upcoming directors. So that's like my personal goal. One of the things I guess I could
go ahead.
One of the things I think I could really focus on is talking to the CNAs and finding out who wants to go to nursing school and helping them navigate the process of applying to one of the nursing schools in our area, and especially navigating the financial aid part, so that way they don't end up with a ton of debt coming out right out of nursing school, and applying for grants and just other ways I can invest, I guess, is an idea I had.
Brother, that you're hitting on a very important aspect of culture building, and which is they need to know that you care. And you should look at it as here's what I tell the people in my companies. I say, look, dude, I'm teaching this because whether you stay or whether you go, you need to know this skill. All right. And if you end up going and moving on to something else, I want you to look back on your time here and say, that's where I learned the most. And so I take pride, a lot of pride, in developing people, making sure they're learning skills. And when these people start to understand that you actually care about them, then they really buy into the culture and you start to get the team to really move the direction that you're looking to move it. So, I mean, bro, honestly, it sounds like you're right on the cusp of really putting this together and making a really good recipe for your own culture. And I think you've got a good framework and a good idea of how to do it. Just keep these tips in mind, man. And, and just keep at it, dude. A good culture takes time. You're going to have people that are going to wash out because they don't fit to the evolving culture. But as those people wash out, the new people that come in that learn that you're trying to help them get their career together, get their life together, those people are going to be very grateful for that culture. So just keep that in mind as you go, brother. It sounds like you're doing really good stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, bro.
All right, Joe. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. Like, he's gonna, I don't want to like pop the bubble, right? But like, what about the people that don't want to get on the board? Like, they
well,
don't
I mean,
wanna
look, that's the natural occurrence of business. Okay, people don't like to adapt and they don't like change, especially when they're a little bit older. Mm-hmm. They're set in their ways, and they think it's an ego thing. They think they know. Well, you know, but you know what you knew from X amount of years ago. Things are changing. Things have to evolve. This isn't the 1980s where we just, had a price and people came in and paid it and we didn't give a fuck. This is real shit. And there's so many options for people to produce income for themselves that if you want to collectivize a group to accomplish a mission, you have to remember that they could probably be making more money doing something else. So the mission has to be real and the mission has to matter, and it has to be genuine. It can't be made up. It can't be some, fucking abstract bullshit. The leadership of the organization or the department or the team, whatever we're talking about, the church, whatever, right? has to be genuinely bought into that mission. They can't smoke screen people and say, oh, I really, care about this, and then not really care about it, because all their people are going to see, it's going to come across in the culture. People won't buy in. It'll be inauthentic, and you will actually end up with something worse than doing nothing, because what'll happen is people who have been either, customers of yours or employees of yours will leave and be like, yeah, bro, that's all bullshit they say out in public. They don't do any of that shit.
Joe was full of shit.
Yeah, it has to be lived on the inside, and that starts with the leadership. And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but that means you have to make a really strong effort like everybody else. So getting culture aligned, that's something that literally, like if a company wanted to pay for that, it would cost them 7 figures for someone to realign their culture. It's a very valuable, in-depth skill that I could talk about and teach about for probably a week straight, 12 hours a day. But that's the gist of it, of what we covered here with Joe. And if you're struggling with the same thing, I would just keep all those little things in mind.
100%, man. Extra sauce. We got one more, man.
Yeah?
One more.
What, a call?
Another call.
Okay, yeah, we can do one more.
All right, here we go. Last call. Lucky caller number 4.
Hello, this is Carolyn.
Hey, Geraldine, this is DJ.
Hey, DJ, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, I got Twisted Steel over here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Andy?
Good. Well, how can we help you
Good
today?
to talk to you. So did you read the whole message, or should I just kind of start from the get-go?
No, he has not seen your question. He is flying blind right now. It's all on you.
Cool. All right. So just to give you a little background, 30 years old, female, kind of in Dallas, Texas. Been here for about 10 years now after my undergrad. Originally from California, and then did my undergrad in Iowa and moved to Texas right after. Sorry?
No, I was saying sorry. Sorry to hear that.
Okay.
He was telling one of his horrible jokes.
Yeah, they are pretty bad. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
see? Thank you.
So anyways, I am just kind of at a crossroad right now. I like Texas. I'm happy I moved here after college, but don't know if this is the, geographical spot for me. It's pretty flat and dry. And I just miss mountains and nature and all that. So my issue though is that I love my career. I have a really great job here, great company, great people. So I'm just trying to figure out what the next step is and make my move. So question is, how do I weigh the comfort and growth of a solid career against the desire to live somewhere that feels like home? Take the leap while I'm single and it's quote unquote easy, or stay put and keep building with a company I respect and could see a long path in, even if that means sacrificing family convenience and a place that doesn't really fit my lifestyle.
Well, let me ask you this. What line of work are you in?
I work in financial services. I work for a private equity firm, but I work on the operations side. So long term, would love to kind of see, something in that C-suite spot operationally, but it is pretty open.
Okay. Well, look, you kind of already understand the choices you have. You have a choice where you can stay somewhere where maybe you don't feel is where you want to be necessarily your whole life, but you've got a great career. And then you are weighing the option of moving somewhere else and sort of starting over with the skill set that you've earned, right? Not starting over, but, starting over. I think when we weigh these decisions, if you would ask me this 10 years ago, I would have told you that you've already got a lot of progress, maximize your career, make sure that you get everything you want out of it. And maybe that is the right answer for you right now. But we have to understand also that there is more to life than our career. I personally value my career as one of the main most meaningful things that I do. I find a lot of value in it for myself, a lot of fulfillment for myself. I feel good about what I do, and I like it a lot. And when I'm honest with myself, is there other places I would like to live? Yeah, for sure. But I've made the choice to stay here for that reason. So I can really relate to your question. Fast forward 15 years from 30 to 45, which is where I am. I might give you an answer and say, hey man, you know, you're still young enough to go live the life exactly on your terms and what you want to do. And you've developed a tremendous skill set at where you're at. And I don't think you should be afraid of moving on to something to, you know, a place where you could see yourself living and enjoying and enjoying the other parts of life besides your career. So I think it just depends, man. It depends on, you know, and by the way, is there not an opportunity for you to do better in your career at one of these other places?
I think it would be open. I, have a really, like I said, great company. They are very supportive. And the great thing about my line of work is we do have a lot of connections, especially since we work with a lot of companies. And so there's an opportunity there to move that somewhere else. And I think that they would be supportive about it, but, it is taking a gamble. I really, appreciate the fact that my company, the people here really challenge me intellectually. And I, frankly, that's hard to find.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it really is. It really is.
So that's my fear. I am young enough that I, know that this is a time where I have this flexibility, but at the same time, like I said, I'm single, I'm young. Like if I'm going to make that move right now, it's going to be easy versus starting a family and then trying to uproot them and move it to where I'd rather be.
Do you think that if you don't make the move that you're going to always regret it?
I think I'm I think I make the best of where I'm at. So I can't see myself holding myself to this regret. I've, picked up and moved several times at this point in my life, so starting over doesn't scare me. But it's just a gamble. It's a gamble of moving somewhere that, I could see myself really moving up in this specific company, but then just in general, like they would support kind of every aspect of me. And to rewrite that script somewhere else can be difficult. But yeah, I just don't have any ties here. All of my family is West.
Do you think it's the reason that you want to move is because you're in the habit of picking up and moving?
I have thought about that. To a degree, that could be it. Right now I'm just in a stale place aside from just my job. So it could be a factor of that. But I think I moved here specifically with that in mind. And that's why I ended up in Texas. Because it doesn't really fit my lifestyle. I'm over my party days. There's just not a lot to do here on the weekends, outside or just in general. And so I'd rather be in a place where I can actually, enjoy the quality of life somewhere.
Well, I think you're answering your own question here. Okay. Here's what I hear. I think you've developed a tremendous skill set where you're at. I think you're going to be equipped to succeed wherever you go. I think that you are young enough to make the change with the least amount of friction and life disruption. And it sounds to me that, the lifestyle that you're after is not going to be found where you are. And that's going to dictate a lot of our happiness. So, from what I'm hearing and not knowing anything other than this 5-minute conversation we've had, it sounds like, you should really consider making a switch now, so that you're not in a situation later where you're like, shit, I wasted all this time and I could have been climbing mountains and kayaking and, skiing and doing all this stuff that you want to do. And then the other thing is too, is if you're in an area like that, you're probably much more likely to find someone that is also into those things that you're going to jive with and connect with and build a life with. So, it's probably the more difficult thing. And I've found in my life that when I'm presented with two choices, that the more difficult one is usually the right one. So that's what I'm hearing from you, and knowing nothing else. So
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, you're not wrong. Well,
listen,
I just wanted to say that
here's what's holding you back, dude. I think what's holding you back is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but having to start from scratch in your career. And there's options here. You could talk to your company about remote positions. You could talk to your company about working in a company that's vertically integrated with them. There's lots of ways to keep that. And I agree, it's hard to find good places to fit in. And you know what, dude? Who's to say you couldn't move for 3 years and say, you know what, I liked it there better, and you could come back. I'm sure they would take you back. So,
for sure.
Sure.
Geraldine, I do want to say I saw your comment about your movie suggestion.
What?
She said Interstellar was terrible.
I thought it was terrible too.
Yeah.
What is wrong with y'all, man?
It was terrible.
It's a great movie.
The fuck you talking about?
It's a great movie. All right. Well,
yeah.
Hope you figure out your life.
Well, listen, I think this is a tough decision that lots of people struggle with, and you'd rather struggle with it at 30 than you would at 45 or 50. So, we only live once. It's, making money and having a career in the company is very, very important. Having financial means is very important. But at the end of the day, we have to be happy, and we've got to be a place that we want to be and doing the things that we want, because, dude, at the end of the day, it would be arrogant for us to assume that we have unlimited opportunity to do the life the way that we want it. We just don't. And a lot of people get to that. They get to an age of, 50, 60, 70, and they're like, fuck, I wasn't doing anything of what I wanted. And, and at that time to change it, you're talking about a massive life-altering fracture that usually has to occur. So that's my take. I can't tell you what I think, or I can only tell you what I think, but what I'm hearing from you is that you're asking for permission to go do this. And I personally, like, if we were friends, which I guess we are now, I would tell you to go out there and do it, and don't be afraid. And I think you're gonna be rewarded by that.
Can I ask you, would you, if you had the same situation with a guy that, is a little bit more professionally driven, would you give him the same advice?
It just depends. It depends if there was a guy saying the exact same thing that you're saying, and I could hear in his voice that he's not happy where he's at. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think I would, I think it's important for all of us to be able to financially take care of ourselves. I don't think that that's, exclusive to anyone's gender. The more financial control and the more career security that we have, the less we depend on other people. And I think that always gives us the freedom to live our life on our terms. So, I mean, no, I would give someone the same advice that was a guy.
Yeah.
I can hear it, dude. Like, I can hear it. Can you hear it?
I can. Yeah. You want to go.
You know what? Why don't you take a couple weeks off and go do that stuff? And regular trips do a lot. You know what I mean? You get away for a week or 2 weeks, it could scratch that itch too. Maybe you just need a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do. They're very flexible, and I'll take off and kind of whatever, go remote off the mountain. But it is, yeah. You guys are saying the same thing. It's clear that that's kind of the next step for me.
Yeah. My thing for you is just to make sure that it's not a grass is greener on the other side thing,
Mm-hmm.
When we're in it and we're living it, it doesn't matter how good it is. We're always looking at how things could be. And when we look at how things could be and we focus on how things could be, we lack the appreciation for how things are, even if things are exactly how we want them to be. So I would just make sure, that this is why I asked you, do you want to move because you're in the habit of moving? Because, like, for me, like, I could tell you, this is just reality. Like, if I live in the same house for 5 or 6 years, I start getting stir crazy. I need a new routine and a new change of pace and a new visual aesthetic to look at and live in. And so I understand what that's like. And I've had to really adjust to where I live now because I found myself starting to want to move and do other things and live in other places, even though it's not a different city. But then when I think about it, I'm like, why would I want to do that? I got everything that I want here, you know? And so I would just make sure that you're not just bored. And because eventually, dude, we're going to get bored with everything, right? Like if we move to the mountains has become our day-to-day life, and eventually we don't even notice it anymore. You know, when I first bought the house I live in, I remember I went to talk to the guy who owned it the first day. I went and saw it in person, and I couldn't believe it, dude. I was like, I was telling him, his name was Jay. I was like, this is the most fucking incredible house I've ever seen in my life. Like, and I asked him, I'm like, why are you selling it? And he was like, I don't see it anymore, dude. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't see it anymore. He's like, it's just my house. And he's like, I don't appreciate it the way that I should. And I just feel it's time to move on because I'm used to it. And, you know, sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we don't need to move across the country. Sometimes we need to move across town. So, you know, you got a lot to think about. I'm probably making it worse, but at the end of the day, man, you know, you've really got to understand that, you know, when you die, you're going to feel a certain way about your life. And I think being in a scenario and living a lifestyle that you feel called to live is going to be an important part of that.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Awesome.
So,
well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good luck with the decision.
Watch Interstellar.
Yeah. And hey, I no, it's terrible. I've met a handful of your first form crew. They're awesome, by the way. So I just wanted to shout out to them.
Thank you. Yeah, we are. I feel every single day. It's just like what you said about your company. Every single day I'm here, I feel fortunate and blessed and extremely excited to come here because I am around great people and they do challenge me and they do fulfill me in friendship ways. And, you know, there is a lot to be said for that. So I understand that. I feel like I get to come to work with the best people on the planet. So I understand that part of where you're at too. It would be hard to leave.
All right, Andy.
All right.
Yeah, it is. It will be definitely, but I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Sarah. Yeah, I think that's a core piece which you mentioned too on just the gratitude part. Like I try to tell myself too, like there was a point in my life where I wanted to be exactly where I'm at.
No shit.
I prayed for it.
Yeah. I think that goes for most people.
Like, dude, like that's a very, very important piece that people forget, man. Like, yeah, the grass ain't always green, but you asked for this.
Yeah.
You are where you wanted to be.
Yeah. What if you asked for something bigger?
Right.
Something to think about.
Yeah. That's real shit.
You know,
man. That's
we
real
tend
shit.
to get what we ask for.
Yeah. That's real, man.
You know, you might as well ask for everything you actually want, not just half of it. You know, I don't know if you heard it, but in my opinion, it sounded like in her voice, she felt like she wanted to do it and just needed some permission,
validation
to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, when we're 30, you know, and older, you know, really people don't give us permission to do these things. We've just got to believe in ourselves. And, you know, she's got a skill set that she spent the last, you know, 10, 12 years building. And that's going to be valuable anywhere. But the one thing that I'm concerned about for her is, you know, she does like all the people she works with. And like she said, that's very rare. And, you know, if you go out and, you know, if I were to go right now, move to fucking Vail, which I love Vail, you know, I would never, ever, ever be able to replicate the amount of relationships and friendships and camaraderie and team that I have here. It would be impossible. And that would be the price of moving there.
Yeah.
So
there's a trade-off.
Yeah. It's a big trade-off too, bro. You know, because as frustrated as I can get, when I walk through the doors here, dude, it changes my mood and I feel better and I like being here and the people here matter to me. And, that would be, I couldn't do that. I couldn't otherwise I would have already done it, you know?
That's real, man.
So
that's real. Well, guys, Andy.
Yeah.
First call into the books.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was a good time, man.
Yeah.
It was a good.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a hell of a way to start a week.
What if they want to? Remind them again if they want to call in.
Yeah, for sure. Check the link down in the description below. Email your questions in to askandy@andyfrisella.com. Just put your phone number in, submit the form on the link below, and if you have a good question, we might be just calling you.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for CTI. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.